Today we are going to be talking all about the Dose of Colors It's Literally Magic shimmer toppers. I'm going to be swatching all 5 shades, trying them on in 4 different looks, and hopefully answering a lot of the questions that you might have about these. This is what the components look like. There are other products that have similar components on the market. They're basically water-based jelly sticks, and they feel cool when you swatch it and apply it to the skin. And 2 shades came out last year, and they were so popular that they decided to expand the range a little bit and come out with 3 new shades. As you can see, you can apply these as a thin wash of sparkle by just using 1 layer, or you can build them up for quite a bit more intensity. But as you can see, these are not an eyeshadow stick. You can't really build them up to being completely and totally opaque because that's not really the intent of them. And that's what makes them true sparkly toppers and also unique to a lot of other similar products that are out there. There's this inner little kind of plastic cap, and that helps to seal in the moisture. Very important not to lose that cap. Before I dive into the new shades, I also want to mention I did a video on comparing a whole bunch of different formulas, so I'm going to link that in the cards. I also talk about this formula in that video. Also, these shimmer sticks retail for $28 a piece, and all 5 shades are currently available. First, we have the shade Frost, and this is one of the newer shades in the line. I can already see this as being one of the top favorites in the lineup. It's also the one that to me seems the most different. It's very icy and cool toned, wintry. You have silver, blue, and charcoal sparkle. I was definitely excited to see such a cool tone shade in the lineup. Next, we have the shade Twinkle. This is also one of the newer shades in the lineup, and it's described as having pink, silver, and gold sparkles. As you can see with each of the shades, you get more of a sheer wash with just 1 swipe. You get a little bit more intensity and a bit more opacity as you apply more sparkle. And then the third and final new shade that came out this year is called Sunset. This shade is simply described as a gold sparkle, though when I swatch it, I do see some different tones of gold sparkle. This is a shade that I personally will use in more of my warm tone looks. Okay, now I'm going to swatch the 2 older shades, and mine I have had for about 1.5 years now. They have not dried out. They're still going strong. This is the shade Icy. It has white and silver sparkles. And last but not least, we have the shade Stardust, and this is also one of the older shades that came out last year. This is simply described as a multicolored sparkle, and you really can see all those different colors as I'm swatching it. But a swatch only tells part of the story. I think you really do see how a look is transformed when you put them on the eyes. And I also do want to mention these are multi-purpose shimmer sticks, so you can apply them to the lips too. Here's what all 5 shades look like swatched on my arm. And before I dive into trying everything else on, I am going to show you swatches of a few other products that I'm going to demo in this video. Dose of Colors came out with 4 new lip liners. This is actually a new product category for the brand. And they did send me both the shimmer sticks and these lip liners, so I really wanted to try them on and see how they worked on my skin tone. I, of course, was happy to see that even the lightest liner is going to work on my skin tone. Also, in general, my preference are these wooden lip liners that are sharpenable. I gotta admit, though, they are a little bit pricey at $24, but a nice selection of shades considering they only have 4 in the line at this point. And for my eye looks, I'm going to be incorporating 3 Viseart palettes. The first is Cashmere Charmeuse, and I want to say this came out 1 or 2 years ago. It has some really lovely shimmers in it. So in case you wanted to see swatches of that palette, I hope this helps. And this is the Paris Nuit Etoile that came out earlier this year. Here's what it looks like swatched in the back of my hand. I will link the video where I did some swatches and a try on in the cards. And last but not least, we have my favorite palette from Viseart. This is Cérénus Étendue, and it came out exactly 1 year ago. And I do have an affiliate code with Viseart that you can use to save, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it up on the screen now. So I thought that what would be a lot of fun is to play around with 4 different ways that you can use the It's Literally Magic shimmer sticks. Either if you had thought of picking these up, or if you already have them and you want to get more use out of them. So I'm going to start off with the easiest thing that you can do, which is just layer it over a matte shadow. And you know, the effect you get is going to be completely different based on what matte shadow you use, because these are a sheer wash of shimmer. So I'm going to dip into this Viseart palette. This came out actually a couple of years ago, so it's not new. It's called the Cashmere Charmeuse palette. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but I am going to go ahead and take this deep brown shade here. Really like this palette. I just in general think that Viseart is a very approachable, user-friendly formula. And I like that they're doing these smaller palettes in general because it's made them more affordable, and the reality is that most people don't pan palettes. I just find that these shadows blend so beautifully and effortlessly. One of my top 3 matte formulas for sure. So I'm just using that shade to create a little bit of a base. I'm going to add a little bit to my lower lash line as well. All right, now that we have the brown matte shadow laid down, we are ready to go in with the dose of colors, starting off with the shade Twinkle, which has some gold sparkles, some pink sparkles, and silver as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and layer this over top of that brown matte shadow. And it's as easy as that. You can see that you have the matte brown shadow that is peeking through, and you're just getting a layer of sparkle all over the lid. And on occasion you can get a little bit of like a chunk of glitter, and you know, in my experience, you just basically take your finger and pat it out. It's not a big deal. Still didn't get any fallout with this product. I don't, even after long periods of wear. And here is a sparkly moment with this first eye look. All right, for my second look, I'm going to dip into this mauve toned matte shade and use it kind of on the outer portion of the lid, sort of as my deepening up shade. I am going to use one of the Viseart shimmers on the inner portion of the lid. That duochrome shade is calling my name. But I'm going to keep all of my looks pretty simple because I just want to show you that you can really jazz up any simple eye look with these shimmer sticks. Adding a little bit of shadow to the lower lash line. Now we're going to dip into this really pretty green-brown duochrome over here and just use that as the lid shade, or like the inner portion of my lid shade. All right, now we're going to go in with the shade Sunset, and this is also one of the newer shades, just like the shade that we just used. And what I'm going to do is try to do a much more precise application of the glitter. So I'm going to put a little bit on the lower lash line, inner portion. And then I'm going to put a little bit on the upper portion of the lid too. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit below the brow bone, or on the brow bone below the eyebrow. And that is it. And here is the second completed look. Hopefully you can see that that extra shimmer application just added a little bit something extra. All right, we're back with my third and fourth looks. The good thing about these shimmers also is that they're water-based, so they're actually really easy to remove. And we're gonna dip into another Viseart palette. This is one that came out earlier this year, I believe. This is the Paris Nuit Étoilée. And I really wanna do a blue halo. So I'm gonna dip into this deep blue matte at the corner of the palette, and I'm just going to create a bit of a halo. I'm not gonna use any of the shimmers this time. Just going to use the palette for the mattes. Placing a little bit on the inner portion of the lid. Again, these mattes are just so easy to work with. They get away with not having, you know, needing to have all the transition shades, although they do have, you know, a good range in the shades in their palettes. They do have lighter shades, but I often don't need to use those lighter shades to get a soft blend, which is nice. All right, now that we've mapped out a simple halo shape, I'm gonna go in with this newer shade called Frost, and I'm just gonna place it all over the inner portion of the halo. I do want this to be fairly intense because I don't have a shade underneath it. I just wanted to put it on bare skin. But that looks super pretty and very easy and effortless. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and, because it is easy to get a targeted application with this, I'm gonna put it on the lower lash line. Added a little bit of mascara and eyeliner, and this is the third completed look. I'll show you a bit of a sparkle moment. For my fourth and final look, I want to do kind of a smoked out wing and just a little bit of a pop of shimmer. So I'm going to start off with this eyeliner from Urban Decay. This is the shade Desperation, and it's a gray toned shade. I'm just going to use that to get the shape of a wing down. And you do have a little bit of playtime with these before they set. So I'm gonna just make that a little bit sharper with my nail and build up the intensity. And then I am also going to connect it to the lower lash line as well. Now I'm just going to take this brush from ColourPop. This is the E26. It has basically just kind of a flat shape to it. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of this gray matte. This is the Viseart Cyrenus palette, which had previously been my favorite palette from Viseart. I think it may still be, even after the recent palettes that came out. But I just want to add a little bit of smokiness to this and blend it out a little bit. And to make it ever so slightly smokier, I just basically added a very small amount of this black eyeliner from Urban Decay, just to add a little bit of depth. And I'm pretty happy with where we are now. I am gonna go in with this older shade from Dose of Colors. This came out a year ago. And I'm just going to do a very targeted application of shimmer kind of in the middle of the lid near the lash line. Stardust is that one that has multicolored shimmer throughout, and I'm just then going to take a very light dusting of this and put it on the bare lid. I don't want it to be too kind of dense. Just want there to be a little bit of light shimmer on the lid. Added a little bit of mascara, and this is the fourth and final look. See if I can get you a little bit closer to see that sparkle. And since we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and do lip swatches of the brand new lip liners that came out from Dose of Colors. We have 4, and I believe they've never done lip liners before. These are all neutral tones, and erring on the side of cool neutrals. I think this shade might be too light for me, but I am gonna fill it in just so we see. This is Ride or Die. Actually, no. This is actually a good nude tone on me. Here's what it looks like all filled in. And then they have 2 clear lip oils. This is the shade Baby Blanket. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit over top. Now we have the shade Whiskey. I tried to go light to deep. Yeah, this is a little bit deeper. Here is what Whiskey looks like fully applied. And Whiskey topped with the clear lip oil. Now we are going to try on the 2 deepest shades, starting with Wind Down. This one has a little bit of pink to it. Here is what Wind Down looks like fully applied, and topped with the clear lip oil. Last but not least, we're going to go in with the deepest shade. This is Late Night. Here's what the shade Late Night looks like fully applied. And here is what Late Night looks like topped with the clear lip oil. All right, now that we've had a chance to go through everything, I want to close up with some wrap-up thoughts. So today we tried on the 3 new shades of the It's Literally Magic shimmer sticks from Dose of Colors, and we tried on their 4 new lip liners as well as one of their lip oils, and the lip oils are actually not new, but they do pair really nicely with the lip liners. So first things first, It's Literally Magic. I'm not new to that product at all. I've been using it since they came out last summer. Since that time, we've gotten a lot of eyeshadow sticks and similar products to the Dose of Colors on the market, although I would say there still, in my opinion, is no product quite like it in that it is truly a sheer shimmer topper. The other products that I have are, you know, much higher opacity and are not, in my mind, what I would consider a true sparkly topper. And in that way, I feel like Dose of Colors really brings something unique. If going for a sparkly topper is what you're looking for, I think not only are they really the only brand that offers something like that, but I also find the formula to be really, really easy and approachable, and it's one that I would recommend to anybody. If you're a makeup beginner or if you're somebody that's more experienced with using and wearing makeup, or even has a larger collection, I think you're going to get something unique with that product. Of course, you have to be looking for something like that. If you're looking for a full opacity moment, then this isn't going to be the product for you. I feel like there's better products for a full opacity moment. So sparkly topper is what you're looking for in a stick format. This is great. I also think that compared to other pressed products, it's unique because a lot of those products give me some type of fallout. You don't have to worry about that with this product. Once, you know, it stays from the time that you apply it, and it's also the easiest to apply that I have. So in that way, really love that. I love that Dose of Colors took a product that has been really loved by its audience and gave us new shades. It did take a long time, but in my opinion, it was well worth the wait. Do I wish that Dose of Colors had a couple more releases during the year? Yes. I feel like waiting an entire year is a long time when it comes to the makeup world. you know, I honestly have come to really enjoy a lot of the products that I have from Dose of Colors, and they really do withstand the test of time. So, you know, Dose of Colors is all about sultry neutrals and classic shades. When I think of Dose of Colors, I think of products that are not really about trends, but ones that are sort of always going to be in style in a lot of ways. When it comes to the It's Literally Magic sparkle sticks, now these are pricey. These are $28. Do I think it's worth it? Of course, that's, you know, different from person to person. For me, I do think they're worth it. I've had, you know, the ones that I picked up last year, this is Stardust, for over a year. It hasn't dried out. You do need to keep this plastic cap though in order to keep the moisture sealed in, but I've had this for well over a year. I've had it for about a year and a half, and it's still doing well, going strong. So in that way, yes, I think you're gonna get a lot of use out of it if you're looking for a product like this, and I do think for me it's worth it. In terms of the lip liners, now I think these are nice lip liners, and I actually think the shades are well done. Even for me with a deep medium skin tone, I was able to make use from all 4 shades. These are pricey. These are $24, and I think, you know, the wooden sharpenable pencils are definitely my favorite, but at this point you can definitely get shades like these at a more affordable price point. So a couple of formulas that I really enjoy are the Unearthly ones. Those I believe are $7, and you know, they are, you know, you do get more product with them. So if you're you know, trying to find something on a bit more of a budget, I would look at those. Not to say these aren't nice, but they are pricey. So now that we've had a chance to go through everything, I would love to hear what you think of the It's Literally Magic sparkle sticks and the lip liners. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.